Today in Portland, a hidden 21 million, an inpatient treatment center shuts its doors, and a fight over funding for the Moda Center. Let's get down to business. I'm Dean Bark. Welcome to the City Report with Dean Bark in Portland. All right, let's dive in. Portland City Council says it uncovered $21 million sitting unbudgeted inside the Portland Housing Bureau, the city agency that funds and oversees affordable housing. This surfaced during the council's first formal oversight hearing under the city's new transparency-focused charter, and the reaction was swift. Here's the timeline. In November 2025, the council approved the routine fall technical ordinance adjustment, essentially a mid-year budget true-up. Only then, on that same day, did the administrative side inform councilors that PHB had $21 million unbudgeted, even as the Bureau was wrestling with a roughly $16 million shortfall. In February, councilors formally requested records to piece together how that happened and why they weren't told sooner. Deputy City Administrator Donnie Oliveira, a senior executive who oversees city operations, faced pointed questions about the communication, the so-called bottleneck. New internal memos have since advised staff not to meet directly with councilors on budget matters and to route requests through managers. That's raising alarms about whether administrative practices are limiting elected officials' access to experts and, by extension, the public's right to a clear picture of the money. Lack of transparency here is unacceptable and undermines public confidence. Call it like it is. Moving on. Volunteers of America Oregon, a nonprofit social services provider, has permanently closed its women's residential treatment center in Northeast Portland. The center abruptly discharged 47 patients earlier this month, and some left without stable housing. The Oregon Health Authority, the state's health regulator, conducted a site visit after complaints about the discharge process. VOA Oregon says mounting costs made the program unsustainable. In 2021, the group purchased a building on Northeast Gleason for about $3.5 million, and necessary upgrades, staffing expenses, and operations piled up. The program paused in April, and 2 weeks later in April, the closure became permanent. The loss shrinks the region's already tight supply of substance use treatment beds and shines a light on the fragile economics of care. The abrupt closure speaks volumes about systemic failures in funding critical health services. Abrupt is doing a lot of work there. Let's pivot to the next story. The Moda Center, the 30-year-old arena that's home to the Portland Trail Blazers, our NBA team, is at the center of a high-stakes funding debate. The Oregon legislature approved a $365 million package for renovations, but it hinges on the city of Portland and Multnomah County adding their own contributions. Blazers ownership, now led by Tom Dundon, the team's new principal owner, says upgrades are necessary to keep the team here, especially as the NBA explores expansion to 32 teams. Seattle and Las Vegas sit atop that list, potentially shifting the league's market dynamics. Meanwhile, economists keep reminding us that public investments in pro sports venues often don't pay off for taxpayers. The arena hasn't had a major overhaul in 3 decades, and the team itself just sold for about $4.3 billion. Public funding for private sports ventures should be scrutinized, especially during local fiscal struggles. Let's not overcomplicate this. Shifting gears. Portland is adopting a transportation utility fee to stabilize funding for the Portland Bureau of Transportation, PBOT, the city department that maintains streets and manages travel. Council Vice President Olivia Clark, a council leader backing the plan, introduced the fee to shore up a system that's been eroded by declining gas tax revenues and soft parking income. Here's the setup. Starting January 2027, the fee will appear on water and sewer bills, generating about $46 million a year. Residential charges will range from $8.40 to $12 a month depending on dwelling type. Commercial customers will pay based on 4.3% of their combined water and sewer charges. Financial assistance will be available for households that qualify. Council passed it 10-2 last week. PBOT is staring at a maintenance backlog estimated north of $6 billion. The goal is a steadier, broader revenue base that doesn't rely so heavily on driving, which also lines up with Portland's climate targets. Critics don't love that everyone pays, including people who don't own cars. Supporters counter that well-maintained roads benefit transit, riders, cyclists, freight, and emergency services. It's a necessary step to prevent our roads from literally crumbling. Cheaper than a new set of shocks, right? And now for something completely different. Lloyd Center, the once bustling mall in the Lloyd district, will close in August 2026. Urban Renaissance Group, the owner and developer, plans to transform the roughly 20-block site into a mixed-use district with housing, open spaces, and better neighborhood connections. The mall is more than 90% vacant, and despite the Save Lloyd campaign, and even a community walking group known as Food Court 5000, the economics tip toward redevelopment. Tenants must vacate by the end of August 2026, and an appeal hearing on the project is set for June 2026. Expect thousands of new homes, public spaces, and a re-knit street grid over time. The shift to mixed use is inevitable, but for a piece of Portland retail history, it's bittersweet. Time to close the book on that. There you have it. That's all for today on the City Report with Dean Bark in Portland. Have a great day and tune in tomorrow for more updates.